Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm ACated and this is my build. So in today's video, we're going to be continuing the fall theme that I did in my last video, which was the pumpkin patch video, which if you didn't see it, you should go see it. But I'm continuing that fall theme and we're going to be making a fall themed Victorian house, or more specifically a Queen Anne inspired house. I'm calling it the Autumn Anne, and yes, I'm very proud of that name. If you didn't know, in my last video I made another Queen Anne house in the pumpkin patch. It's supposed to be kind of like a haunted house, although it doesn't really look that haunted. But it's just a normal Queen Anne kind of house. It's a lot smaller than this one, a lot less detailed. But I did make one already, but I kind of wanted to do it again because I didn't really like how I did it last time. And that was fine because I was just part of a larger build, but this one is specifically just the house, which I kind of like. So we're doing it, and we are bound by the whims of me. So yeah, we're doing that now. Anyway, so for this I had a lot of reference pictures. I looked up lots of Queen Anne houses. For the one that I did the pumpkin patch, I didn't really have a reference picture for that. I kind of just winged it. But for this one, I had a few reference pictures. I didn't really stick to them too much. I was just using them as just some light inspiration, some mild inspiration, but mostly I was trying to come up with this on my own. So mostly it is my own design, just kind of based off some real houses. To be fair though, I think that that's how most Sims 4 building is like. You have an idea, you get reference pictures for some houses, or maybe you just have seen something and then you want to kind of make it in The Sims, and then you do it, and I think that's completely fine. So yeah, I did that like that. I feel like a lot of my builds are kind of like that. I just don't say it, but for this one I did use reference pictures. For most of my builds I also use reference pictures, but I generally, reference pictures are just a good practice to do if you're trying to recreate something or build something, especially if you have like a lot of them, so then you're kind of have a lot of ideas to pull from. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. So you probably aren't thinking this, but if you are, you might be wondering why I'm building in Strangerville if it's supposed to be an autumn house, and Strangerville it's not really known for having seasons or being seasonal. I mean, deserts usually aren't really known for having seasons. But you know why I decided to build here? It's because I like Strangerville, and also I like this little neighborhood, especially because all the houses here are exactly the style that I'm looking for, so it's like, you might as well just put it here. But anyways, I also just really like Strangerville. I also think it has a very spooky, mysterious vibe, and I kind of like that about it. And despite it being a desert, I feel like it fits the themes, like, pretty well, at least. Especially because, like, it is desert, but it's very autumn colors, isn't it? It's very orange, red, lots of warm tones. I feel like it fits the theme pretty well. So it could have been in Brindleton Bay. When I think of autumn, I think of New England, Brindleton Bay, but I think this is a good fit for it anyways. And you can also just move it. Like, it doesn't have to strictly be here. You can always just move it to a different lot if you feel like it. I'm probably going to keep it in this lot, and I'm going to probably put this in my main save file because I quite like it. But anyways, yeah, that's why I use it in Strangerville. I really like Strangerville. I'll probably make a video about more Strangerville builds. Not a video, probably multiple videos. Strangerville is one of my favorite worlds. I want to make a video maybe explaining like a world tier list or something, or just ranking all the worlds in some way. Something like that. I think that would be interesting. Let me know if you'd like to see that. Also, if you haven't noticed, it is closer to Thanksgiving, and you know what Thanksgiving means? It means a break from school, and you know what that means? That means more videos from me. So be sure to expect more videos from me. Not every 2 weeks, maybe. I'm thinking around every 3 days or so, around that kind of period of time. So that's roughly twice a week, maybe roughly twice a week, once a week. I don't know how to do math, but you should expect to see more videos from me. So hopefully you're excited about that, and if you're not, I don't know what to say, but hopefully you are. I built this Queen Anne house yesterday as of recording this audio, but I also built literally right after another build. So expect to see that soon. I don't know if I'm going to post it right after this, but expect to see that soon. And then expect to see a lot more videos soon because I have a lot more planned. And maybe, just maybe, expect to see me branching out into other games besides The Sims, which I don't know if you'd be interested in seeing that, because right now my audience is very Sims-centric, very Sims-centered, but I'd like to branch out to other games, and I want to see if what people think about that. So if you'd like to see me play other games, be sure to tell me. And regardless, just be sure to like, comment, subscribe, which I'll remind you at the end of the video, which I always do. Anyways, I quite like how I did this house. I wasn't sure about it at first, but I feel like that's the same thing with all my builds. I'm always not sure about it at first, and then they always end up becoming something that I quite like, or at least can tolerate. For this one, I really do like how it turned out. I like all the warm colors, like the reds and the yellows. I like how I did some colorful bits, so you'll see that eventually where I'll do more different colors and wallpapers on the outside, so it'll look more interesting, which I think adds a lot to it. It might look a little weird. I feel like a lot of the things in this build might look a little weird and out of place, but I was trying to do that on purpose because I felt like it looks out of place, but it looks out of place on purpose, and then it looks good. But I think it does. At least I think it does. I don't know. You tell me if you think it looks good. You tell me if it doesn't. I'll probably point out some things that I think are kind of out of place, and I did them on purpose because I'm being weird and quirky. Also, if you haven't noticed, I'm doing a sort of interesting roof trick here. That's to allow the like the side thing. I forgot what it's called. It's like the ledge. Some sort of ledge. I forgot what it's called, but that little piece that goes on the edge of the wall at the top, you can only do that if you have a floor underneath the roof. So if you don't have a floor underneath the roof, you can't do that. So then it's kind of annoying. So that's why I did that little roof trick. So then I could have that little ledge and not have it to be like really, really thick. The builds I've been doing right now are kind of fall themed, and by the builds that I've been doing right now, I mean this one and then the one I did right before this. That's kind of it, because that's all I could manage for the time being. But going forward, I'm going to be doing just some more normal builds, not necessarily seasonal themed, because I feel like I have like a lot of pressure to like do a seasonal build just because it is that season. But then it's like, when are you going to do normal builds? Because it's always some sort of season, or it's always some sort of theme, I guess, some sort of holiday. But I think I'm going to be doing just some more normal builds. So the one after this, the build that I did right after this one, that one's a normal build. It's not themed after anything. It's not too exciting because I feel like I've been doing a lot more big builds, especially because I haven't been able to post as much. So it's like, oh, you need to make up for the lack of content, which with magnitude, like make a big, cool build. But for this one, it is kind of a big build, and then the next one's not a big build, but I think it's still interesting, and it's not too exciting, but it's still a fun build, and I think it's still it looks good. And I'm getting off topic because this is the video for this build and not the video for the next build. So that build will get its own video, so we'll talk about that video. We'll talk about that build during that video. So I'm adding flowers, and similar to my last build, I added flowers there, lots of foliage and stuff. And I think it could be a little bit interesting and weird just because you might not expect to see a bunch of flowers in the fall, but I would expect to see flowers in the fall, especially like warm colors, warm flowers, yellows, oranges, some reds too, lots of those things, lots of sunflowers too. I would expect to see those in the fall, or at least that I associate that with fall, so that's why I put them here. I put some flower boxes, even though you might associate that with spring. I don't know if other people associate that with spring. Maybe it does look fall. I hope it does, because that's the whole point. Oh, also, with this house, I was sort of under the impression that it could be a haunted house, so I added a seance table in one of the rooms, but it could also just be a normal house too, so you could very well just make it whatever you want. I was trying to make it a little bit ethereal, a little bit mysterious. I was a little bit inspired by the Winchester Mystery House, which I might make a build like inspired by that just because it's really cool. But this one is just slightly inspired by it, especially the mystery vibe. Not really the outside, the appearance. It kind of just looks the way it is. I also added this greenhouse here, which I actually took some elements of this build from a different build that I saw. So I'll probably link that build or that gallery creator, just because I really like that build, and this was kind of a little bit inspired by it. So that greenhouse was also a little bit inspired by that build. It's another Strangerville mansion, and I used it in my own gameplay once, and it was really fun. And this build is slightly inspired by it just because it was really cool. So yeah, I'll probably link that too, so if you're interested in that, you can download that too. But yeah, I added a greenhouse. I quite like it. I like those windows. I did use Laundry Day for that, and this build is minimal packs, However, I did use quite a few packs, not like a lot of packs, but just a few packs, but I'll mostly only be using like 1 or 2 objects from them. So if you should definitely look at the objects list on each packs listed on this build if you're worried about that, because usually I'll just use 1 or 2 objects from it. The packs that you really need installed probably are Seasons, Strangerville, and Cats and Dogs. I don't know about any other packs, but those ones I know you will need because I use a lot of objects from those. Other than that, the other ones should be fine if you don't have them. Like, if you don't have Laundry Day, then you just don't have a window, and then you don't have like 1 plant, that's it. Or if you don't have Paranormal, you might just not have a few objects, but that's it. So, yeah, don't let that discourage you, because this is still minimal packs. Usually, if I don't restrict myself, like, it'll go a lot of packs. On the next build, that actually does have a lot of packs because I did not restrict myself. I've been doing a lot of minimal pack builds, so that one's not minimal packs, and yeah, I use like every pack. But usually for minimal packs, I find it interesting because it's like I can't bring myself to use anything like kits or stuff packs or anything usually, because usually I'll just limit myself to some expansion packs and maybe some game packs, but not usually any like stuff packs or kits or whatever. I was gonna say kit packs. Oh my god. Yeah, kits or stuff packs I usually don't use in minimal pack builds just because I can't bring myself to use them because they're just so small. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Especially kits, because they're so small and then they're so specific that I could always find some sort of alternative object for them, but then I never get to use them, so it's like, sometimes I just want to use kits, even though I don't really like kits that much, but some kits are pretty interesting. I just wish they weren't kits. I just wish they were like a part of a stuff pack or something, or even just in the game. I wish that everything was just in the game, but regardless, if they have to be a DLC, I don't like the concept of kits. I don't like how microtransaction-y they are, but I'm sure you've heard a lot of Sims creators say that. Anyways, let's talk about the interior of the house. So the interior of the house is very, kind of just like Victorian, old, ornate inspired. It's very warm cones, very warm toned. Lots of warm colors. There's some green in the study, but it's a very warm green. And just lots of autumn colors, trying to make this very autumnal, very fall core, I guess. There's lots of wallpapers and warm colors, especially the base game wallpapers, and especially that one beehive one. I quite like that one. So I use that a little bit. I use the normal wallpapers with like the colors. I think all the wallpapers have colors, but the colors and the wood. I'm describing every wallpaper anyways. So I'm using a mix of couches, so I use the more industrial couches and then I use the more ornate couches. I was trying to make it so that it wasn't all the same, because I felt like that was a bit boring. So I was trying to make it very mixed and very variety, like very diverse. Give it a lot of variety and stuff. This is supposed to be the living room. I was gonna make sort of like a living room and then like another living room. So in old houses there was like a thing called a parlor, and then I was thinking this could be something like the parlor, but then it just ended up being like just the living room. So there's only one living room, and then there's another room which is where the next room over. That's where the piano is going to be, and then also I think there's a desk there with a computer, and then there's also a door to the outside. I will say, I feel like I've mentioned this before, but with minimal packs, it is very hard to decorate things just because you're limited to the amount of objects you can use, so then you just end up using the same objects over and over and over and over and over again, which I feel like, despite how many objects are in The Sims, I feel like there's never enough to decorate things completely because you always have to repeat objects. Or even if you're doing multiple builds, like you can get away with not using so many objects, or using a lot more objects. Like I'm saying, not repeating objects, but then it's hard because I feel like I just use the same objects in every build that I do. So for this one, I was trying to be a little bit more diverse, use some objects that I'm not trying to use, that I'm not trying to use that often, or not use that many objects that I use often, or whatever. If you've been watching my builds, let me know if you think this is too similar to the rest of my builds, or if all my builds are too similar to each other, which I don't know if they are. They might be. It's kind of hard for me to say, but if you think so, just tell me, and I'll try to diversify my building techniques, I guess. For the kitchen, I was trying to make it a little bit colorful. I used some brighter colors, some pop-of colors, which you wouldn't probably expect to see in a Victorian or old home, but I was trying to make it seem like this is more of an old home that was kind of remodeled a little bit, or at least has some touches of more modern things. especially because I was just trying to make it have a lot more pop of color, a lot more warm colors. I was just trying to make it very autumnal, but not just that, but also look nice, very colorful and stuff. This is the room that I was talking about. There wasn't really any room for a like another living room, but I did do a desk, and then I put the piano there eventually, even though for right now I didn't put the piano there, but eventually I put the piano there. There's also bookcase and a sofa there. I think I moved things around though, so eventually all of that will be moved around. I also added a chess table. That's not going to stay, that's going to go somewhere else. I added this carpet. I actually quite like this carpet. I feel like it looks kind of fallish, kind of autumnal and stuff. I keep saying autumnal, but like that's what the whole point of this build is, so I'll keep saying it. I feel like I also add the same objects everywhere. Like I mean like the same usable objects. Like there's always a flower arranging table, the bee station thing from Seasons, always a desk, always like a bonsai tree, always a chess table, always some sort of instrument. It was just everywhere. It's always the same. Just because I feel like there's not a lot of diversity in usable objects, or at least that's what I think. At least in the base game, or even like when I use minimal packs, because I kind of don't use a lot of the other packs, so then I don't use a lot of the activities and stuff. But when I don't do minimal packs, I feel like maybe I use a lot more because I don't have to limit myself. Maybe the problem is just because I'm using a lot of minimal packs, which isn't really a problem because it means that more people can download it. But then also it makes it so that you can use less stuff. Or not, you can use less stuff. It makes it so that you have to use less stuff. Yeah, but it's fine. I think it's good to do a balance. It's good to make builds so that people can download them, but also it's good to make builds that also look good despite the amount of packs they use, because usually you won't use a lot of objects from any given pack. You'll probably only use a few objects from a pack. Just more like a few objects from a lot of packs, so then if something's missing, it's not too detrimental. But for minimal packs, I try to make it so that more people can download them, and there's also base game, which means that everyone can download them, which is good. For the greenhouse, I added a lot of more flower pots and stuff, and the planters, but also I wanted to add some potted plants just to add some more decoration, and also so that if you don't have anything planted in there, it still looks like you're growing some stuff. And then eventually, I didn't record this, but I actually put the hanging plants from Paranormal in there, so I put those in there. I think they look interesting. They add a lot of variety and stuff. Anyways, now we're moving on to the upstairs. So for the upstairs, it's mostly just bedrooms. I forgot to put like a public restroom. By public, I mean for the rest of the house that isn't just attached to a bedroom. So there's only 2 bathrooms. One of them is attached to a bedroom. The other one is for anyone to use. But I think that's probably fine. I don't play The Sims, like the gameplay, enough in really big houses or really big families to know if that's a problem with gameplay. But I'm sure it's fine. And you can also probably add another bathroom if you really need to. I mean, The Sims will probably just use the bathroom anyways in the other room. They're not going to be like, oh no, I can't because that's attached to a bedroom. It's like, no, they don't know that, and they don't care. For this bedroom, I was trying to make this sort of like the parents' bedroom, like imagining that there's a family in here, so I'd make this like the largest bedroom, so it's the parents. I used one object from Werewolves in here. I just had to because it was just really cool. Those little trunks there along like the edge of the bed. I thought it was very cool. It adds a lot of flair, I guess, to the bedroom. So I added that in. If you don't have werewolves, that's the only object I use, so don't worry too much about it. Here's the bathroom. Very normal to bathroom. It's kind of hard because the showers, there's, even with all the packs, there's only a few of those really full showers, the ones with the bath in them too. So that's kind of interesting because then everything kind of looks the same. So that's why I always say, like, here's the bathroom, it's a bathroom. That's why I always say that, because it's always the same. It always looks very similar to each other. So it's like, it's a bathroom, it's not really that much special about it. If there is something special, I'll tell you, but I'm sure you know that there isn't. I added the seance table. It is attached to a room. If you want, you can turn that room into like an office or something, or another room or something. But yeah, I added a seance table and stuff. You can use that for your haunted house if you want to make this a haunted house. I didn't make this a haunted house. I might make it in my own gameplay, but on the gallery it's residential. Each room here has a different color theme. So this one's yellow, and then there's also more of like a bluish turquoise one, and then there's also a reddish pink one, and then I guess like the parents' bedroom, it doesn't really have a color theme. It might be more of like a beige or an orange or something, but that's the color the color schemes for each room. My favorite room is actually the turquoise one. But also I'm probably partial to that just because my favorite color is turquoise. So Yeah, but yeah, I quite like that one. I also really like all the furniture that comes with cats and dogs. I never realized how good that furniture is, especially because it comes in such a variety of colors. I should probably make some more cats and dogs houses, like in Brindleton Bay. I might actually do that soon. Not right now, but probably like eventually. I might put that in my plans. The furniture here is actually pretty good, so I never realized that. But it's good. It's good. I like it. It worked well in this build too. Specifically in the red room, I that bed had a swatch that was really fall to me. Like it was very leafy. It looked like fall leaves, but it just didn't fit well with the rest of the room. So I just decided not to use it. But if you want, you could use it because it is very fall and I quite like it. And I was like, oh, I should have used it. It would have been so perfect, but it's okay. I think it's fine. Also, I feel like at this point I was kind of getting tired, so I was like, oh, I just want it to be over. Even though it didn't take me that long to do this, it only took me like 2.5 hours to finish this build. But regardless, I was kind of tired at the end, and I was like, I just wanted to get it done. So I finished it, which is good, and I actually quite like how it turned out. Anyways, now we're moving on to the outside of the house. So the inside is now done. Now it's just more like the landscaping and stuff. What was really annoying was that the terrain paint disappeared, which is it's not happened to me before, but I think that's a bug that's been happening to some people. But yeah, it literally just all disappeared, so I had to go in and replace it. I didn't record that part just because it looks exactly how it is, but that was quite annoying to deal with. But yeah, everything's fine. It should be on the gallery with the terrain paint, probably, hopefully. If not, just I guess make your own terrain paint or something, I don't know. There's always something with these builds. It goes so well, and then there's always something that goes wrong, like the terrain paint, which hopefully it works. For this one, potentially it could not go wrong just because I saved it with the terrain paint this time, so then it should save, but you never know. You never know with these things. The Sims is quite unpredictable. Anyways, this was the landscaping I was talking about with all the flowers and stuff. I actually tested how it looks in the fall. That's actually when I took all the screenshots. I took them during the fall and in-game, and I actually quite like how they look. They look a little bit more dull and muted. Some of them look more like a red color, but I think that looks really nice, especially because it's supposed to be fall, so it looks good, especially in fall. You can put this in any other world. It should look cool too. You could also probably put this in any other season as well. It could look good in any season. I think just generally it just looks good, but specifically it's supposed to be fall. It's also interesting just because I have all these desert plants everywhere, but then I also have these like maple trees from Brindleton Bay, and it's like, that's a bit of an interesting combination. I think it looks good. If you don't like it, just switch it out with some other plants and stuff. Very, very easily fixable. Also because those swatches have red leaves always, so it could also be a little bit weird, especially if you're in a different season. So you can always change it, yeah, just change it whenever you want to. I think it's probably fine. Anyways, so we're now reaching the end of the video, which always sneaks up on me for some reason. I never pay attention to that, but yeah, we're reaching the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to all those fun YouTube things. Comment down below if you like this build. Comment if you just want to see anything else from my channel. My gallery ID and the name of the build will be in the description, as they are in all my videos, and all my other builds are on the gallery as well, so if you'd like to check them out, make sure to do that. Be sure to expect more videos from me soon, because I am going to be making more videos soon. Again, thank you so much for watching, and please stay for the montage at the end of the video. Alright, goodbye!